Question Let about professional education Part 36. Question number 1. In a capitalist society, most people cannot survive without working, so they are forced to sell their labor to earn wages. According to Karl Marx, this creates a specific type of relationship between those who own the means of production and those who sell their labor. What is this class relationship called? Letter A. Bourgeoisie versus proletariat. Letter B. Master versus apprentice. Letter C. Landlord versus tenant. Letter D. Elite versus minority. The correct answer is letter A. Bourgeoisie versus proletariat. Karl Marx's theory, developed in the mid-19th century, explains that society is divided into two classes based on their relationship to production. In the Communist Manifesto, 1848, he identified the bourgeoisie, who own factories and capital, and the proletariat, who must sell their labor to survive, an arrangement that leads to exploitation and class struggle. In Das Kapitaljahr 1867, Marx showed how the bourgeoisie profit from the surplus value created by workers, deepening inequality. The question reflects this dynamic, as people must work to live, revealing the dependency of the proletariat on the bourgeoisie. Thus, the class relationship described is the bourgeoisie versus proletariat, the core of Marx's analysis of capitalism. Question number 2. Two neighboring countries agree that teachers certified in one country can work in schools of the other country without needing extra certification. This ensures mobility and professional recognition and promotes easier cross-border employment for educators. What is this arrangement called? Letter A. Certification waiver. Letter B. Exchange program. Letter C. Reciprocity agreement. Letter D. Standardized testing. The correct answer is letter C. Reciprocity agreement. A reciprocity agreement is an arrangement between two countries, states, or institutions that allows professionals such as teachers to have their qualifications recognized without needing additional certification. This agreement ensures that a teacher licensed in one place can legally and professionally work in the other. In the situation, the two neighboring countries accept each other's teacher certifications, allowing educators to work across borders without extra requirements. This directly reflects the purpose of a reciprocity agreement, which is to promote mobility, mutual recognition, and easier transition for professionals. Question number 3. A public elementary school in the Philippines receives new learning materials and a revised curriculum from the government. The agency responsible for creating and distributing these materials before year 1987 was letter A. Department of Education or DepEd. Letter B. Department of Education, Culture, and Sports or DEX. Letter C. Commission on Higher Education or CHED. Letter D. Technical Education and Skills Development Authority or TESDA. Answer B. DEX. The Department of Education, Culture, and Sports or DEX was the government agency responsible for basic education in the Philippines from year 1972 until it was reorganized in 2001. It oversaw curriculum development, textbook production, distribution of learning materials, and teacher support for all public elementary and secondary schools. The scenario describes a public school receiving new learning materials and a revised curriculum. Since DEX was the agency in charge of these functions before 1987, therefore the letter B is the correct answer. While the CHED or Commission on Higher Education is established in 1994, it oversees higher education, including colleges and universities, policies, and academic standards. The TESDA or Technical Education and Skills Development Authority is created in 1994. It manages technical vocational education and training, TVET, skills programs, and competency assessments. And lastly is the DepEd, or Department of Education, is the current agency handling basic education in the Philippines since 2001. They are responsible for elementary and secondary schooling, curriculum implementation, and learning material. Question number 4. A chimpanzee is in a cage with a bunch of bananas hanging from the ceiling. After trying to jump several times without success, it suddenly stacks some boxes together and climbs them to reach the bananas. This quick shift from failed attempts to a creative solution shows a sudden understanding of the problem. What is this an example of? Letter A. Trial and error learning. Letter B. Observational learning. Letter C. Classical conditioning. Letter D. Insight learning. The correct answer is letter D. Insight learning. Insight learning is a type of learning in which an individual suddenly realizes a solution to a problem without trial and error. It involves a mental reorganization of the elements of a problem, leading to a spontaneous understanding or aha moment. This concept was first studied by Wolfgang Kohler in the 1920s using chimpanzees, showing that animals are capable of solving problems through thought rather than mere repetition. In the scenario, the chimpanzee initially fails to reach the bananas by jumping, but then suddenly stacks boxes and climbs them to succeed. This demonstrates insight learning, as the chimpanzee mentally grasped the solution and acted on it without repeated random attempts. The example illustrates how insight learning allows for problem solving through understanding rather than trial and error behavior. Again, the insight learning involves a sudden cognitive realization of the solution, while the trial and error learning involves discovering a solution through repeated attempts and mistakes rather than sudden understanding. The observational learning occurs when a learner acquires new behaviors by watching and imitating others, without direct problem solving. And the classical conditioning is a type of learning where a neutral stimulus becomes associated with a reflexive response through repeated pairing with an unconditioned stimulus. 5. Rico, a 2-year-old child, has not yet begun combining words into simple phrases, whereas most children start this around 18 to 24 months. The parents become concerned because they notice that Rico is reaching his milestone later than expected compared to typical developmental timelines. This observation refers to letter A. Duration perspective. Letter B. Onset perspective. Letter C. Frequency perspective. Letter D. Sequencing perspective. The correct answer is letter B. Onset perspective. It refers to the point in time when a developmental skill or behavior first appears. It focuses on whether a child begins showing a particular ability earlier, on time, or later than what is typically expected based on developmental milestones. In the scenario, Rico has not yet begun combining words into simple phrases, a skill most children start developing around 18 to 24 months. Since he is already 2 years old or 24 months and has not reached this milestone, the concern is about when the skill should have appeared but did not. This delay directly reflects an issue with the onset of the developmental milestone, hence, it falls under the onset perspective. Question number 6. During the school intramurals, Joby, a grade 10 student, performs a gymnastics floor routine in front of the judges. Throughout the performance, she shows excellent control. Her movements flow smoothly from one step to the next, she maintains perfect balance, and her timing is precise. Her execution appears polished and well mastered. What level of the psychomotor domain does this demonstrate? Letter A. Complex overt response. Letter B. Perception. Letter C. Guided response. Letter D. Adaptation. The correct answer is letter A. Complex overt response. It refers to the skilled performance of motor acts that require coordination, precision, and smooth execution. At this level, the learner demonstrates mastery through efficient, accurate, and well-controlled movements. Joby's gymnastics routine shows smooth transitions, precise timing, balance, and polished execution. These characteristics indicate a high level of coordination and refined motor skill, which aligns directly with the complex overt response level in the psychomotor domain. The psychomotor domain focuses on physical skills, coordination, and motor performance. It begins with perception, where learners use sensory cues to guide movement. The second level is set, which involves readiness to act. The third level is guided response. It includes the early stages of learning a skill through imitation and practice. The fourth stage is mechanism. It reflects a learner's ability to perform a skill with basic proficiency. The fifth level is complex overt response, shows a higher level of skill characterized by accurate, efficient, and well-coordinated movements. The sixth level is adaptation. It involves modifying a skill to fit new situations. And the final level is origination. It represents creating new movement patterns or skill combinations uniquely developed by the learner. Question number 7. Ms. Reyes asks, if everyone always told the truth, what would happen in society? She does not provide her own answer but guides students to explore possibilities. Which teaching method is being illustrated? Letter A, lecture method. Letter B, project-based learning. Letter C, demonstration method. Letter D, Socratic method. The correct answer is letter D, Socratic method. The Socratic method is a teaching approach where the teacher asks thought-provoking, open-ended questions to stimulate critical thinking and encourage students to explore ideas deeply. Instead of giving direct answers, the teacher guides learners to analyze possibilities, reflect, and reason out their own conclusions. In Ms. Reyes' situation, she asks, if everyone always told the truth, what would happen in society? But does not give the answer herself. Instead, she encourages students to think critically, explore possibilities, and discuss their own ideas. As the discussion continues, students challenge each other's reasoning and refine their understanding through her guiding questions. This interaction demonstrates the Socratic method, where learning occurs through questioning, dialogue, and critical thinking. While the option A is the lecture method, it involves the teacher directly delivering information to students with minimal interaction. The option B is project-based learning, requires students to actively work on a project over time, culminating in a product or solution. And the option C is the demonstration method. It involves the teacher showing or modeling a skill for students to observe and replicate. Question number 8. Teacher Raquel plans a group painting activity for her students to encourage creativity and collaboration. However, the classroom cannot accommodate large groups safely and comfortably, so she decides to divide the students into smaller teams. Which criterion is being considered in her planning? Letter A, optimal value. Letter B, appropriateness. Letter C, feasibility. Letter D, variety. The correct answer is letter C, feasibility. Feasibility refers to whether a planned activity or task can be practically carried out given the available resources, space, time, and other constraints. It ensures that the activity is realistic and manageable in the given context. In this scenario, teacher Raquel wants students to work in groups for a painting activity. However, the classroom cannot safely or comfortably hold large groups, so she divides the students into smaller teams. This reflects feasibility, as she adjusts her plan to accommodate the practical limitations of the classroom. Again, the feasibility considers whether the activity can be practically carried out, given available resources, space, time, and other constraints. While the variety, it involves offering a range of activities to maintain interest and engagement among students. The optimal value focuses on selecting an activity that provides the maximum learning benefits or outcomes for students. And appropriateness, it ensures that activity is suitable for the student's age, abilities, and developmental level. Question number 9. In curriculum theory, the term curriculum is derived from the Latin word that refers to the act of running a course or journey. Which word is it? Letter A, cursus. Letter B, currere. Letter C, syllabus. Letter D, disciplina. The correct answer is letter B, currere. The term curriculum comes from the Latin word currere, which means to run or to run a course. In curriculum theory, it reflects the idea of a learner's educational journey or progression through knowledge, skills, and experiences over time. Question number 10. John is used to driving a car with an automatic transmission. When he drives a manual car for the first time, he keeps pressing the wrong pedals and stalling the engine. This is an example of letter A, positive transfer. Letter B, horizontal transfer. Letter C, negative transfer. Letter D, vertical transfer. The correct answer is letter C, negative transfer. It occurs when prior learning interferes with the learning of a new task because the old habits or knowledge are not compatible with the new situation. Essentially, what you already know hinders your performance in a new context. For example, John is used to driving an automatic car, where there is no clutch pedal and gear shifting is automatic. When he drives a manual car for the first time, his habits from driving an automatic car conflict with the manual operation, like pressing the wrong pedals or stalling the engine. His previous experience interferes with his ability to drive the manual car correctly. Two types of transfer. The negative transfer occurs when previous learning interferes with or hinders the performance of a new task. This happens when old habits or responses conflict with what is required in the new situation. For example, a driver who is used to an automatic car may struggle with a manual car, pressing the wrong pedals and stalling the engine, because the old driving pattern does not match the new one, while the positive transfer happens when past learning helps or supports new learning. This occurs when the skills from the first task are similar or useful in the second, such as when knowing how to ride a bicycle makes learning to ride a motorcycle easier. In simple terms, negative transfer disrupts new learning, while positive transfer strengthens it.